I just want to quickly talk about a couple books that I have not finished and why I have not finished them. The first one that I didn't finish recently that I will never finish is this book. It's called Manhunt. It's by Gretchen Fletcher Martin Felker Martin. Um, Described as by far the best book I've read this year, brilliantly imagined, a filthy furious delight, a modern horror masterpiece. The description is Beth and Fran spend their days traveling the ravaged New England coast, hunting feral men and harvesting their organs in a gruesome effort to ensure they'll never face the same fate. Robbie lives by his gun and one hard-learned motto: other people aren't safe. After a brutal accident entwines the three of them, this found family of survivors must navigate murderous turfs, a sociopathic billionaire bunker brat, and awkward relationship dynamics, all while outrunning packs of feral men and their own demons. Um, I just want to read a bit of it because I think that like the first paragraph or so will explain to you why I'm not going to finish it. Um, Part 1, Misandry. Lies will never love you. You are living a lie and you know it, and your miserable existence commits suicide now. Unknown troll. Fran, squinting in the early afternoon glare, watched through her scratched binoculars as the man knelt to drink. The forest pool was dark and brackish, scummed with the blooms of vibrant green algae. Skinny pines, bare branched for a good 20 feet under a canopy of needles, surrounded it. The man's matted, filthy hair floated on the surface as he gulped down greedy mouthfuls, tilting his head back to swallow like an alligator horking down a fish. They had trouble with swallowing, these things the plague had made out of everyone with enough testosterone in their system to put out a decent crop of back hair. Mostly they ripped their prey apart and gulped the meat down in chunks, or dug up grubs and beetles or whatever roots they could get their gnarled hands on. They'd eat pretty much anything if it came down to it. Fran had seen one choke on a tennis ball. Well, asked Beth, kneeling on Fran's right. Fran lowered the binoculars. He's alone. Can you one-shot him from here? Beth was already unlimbering her compound bow. 60 yards, she said quietly, smirking so that the scar at the right corner of her mouth drew taut and pulled at the bottom eyelid until a little crescent of wet pink soaked through it. What eye socket? Do you want it through? Don't don't be a cunt and hiss back. Just do it. Beth's smile widened as she nocked a carbon fiber arrow and drew to the bow's full extension, the muscles in her long, thick arms standing out. She squinted along the arrow shaft. Lick my tape, she whispered, and took the shot. I wouldn't consider myself a prude, and I wouldn't consider myself easily grossed out. But I find the book has a certain level of callousness from what I've read of it that I really don't want to engage with. Um, I don't really know. I feel like just from reading that first page, it's like YouTube's gonna ban me or something. But it's it makes me uncomfortable, and it's just the kind of thing where if I don't want to read a book that makes me feel icky, I'm not going to. And this is coming from someone who just went to see the Bone Temple Part 2 and kind of enjoyed it. It's like an interesting idea that people with testosterone have been, you know, transformed by a disease or blight or whatever. It's just not for me. And I have learned that if I just don't want to read something, I don't have to read something. Um, I'm sure this is for someone, but it's not for me. Um, yeah, anyway, that's number one. I feel like I feel bad even just like reading that first bit. Whatever. Okay. Number two, I did not finish this. A Haunting in the Arctic by C.J. Cook. Um, A deserted shipwreck off the coast of Iceland holds terrors and dark secrets in this chilling horror novel from the author of The Lighthouse Witches. The year is 1901, and Nikki is attacked, then wakes up on board the Ormen, a whaling ship embarked on what could be its last voyage. With land still weeks away, it's just her, the freezing ocean, and the crew, and they're all owed something only she can give them. Now, more than 100 years later, the wreck of the Ormen has washed up on a forbidding, remote coast of Iceland. It's scheduled to be destroyed, but explorer Dominique feels an inextricable pull to document its last days, even those even though those who have ventured onto the ship before her have met uncanny ends. On board the boat, Dominique will uncover a grim past riddled with lies, cruelty, and murder, and her discovery will change everything because she'll soon realize she's not alone. Something has walked the floors of the Ormond for over a century, something that craves revenge. So I got it because it's like a potentially supernatural mystery. And I went to Iceland this past summer, and so I was like, oh, it takes place, near the Arctic. It has Svalbard. I love Svalbard. So I'll take it like a gander. And then it starts out in the present, in kind of the present, July 1973. And then it bounces back to 1901. And then it bounces back to 2023. And I was just like, there's too many time shifts, there's too many timeline issues. And so it just made me not want to read it. I When they're done well, when it's compelling, I can get into timeline shifts like that. But this one, especially since it went to like more recent past and then present, I like it when it's a little bit more consecutive. And so I also didn't want to finish that. So that was when I got this recent um, winter. I was in Santa Barbara and I picked up some books from a bookstore that I really like to support. But, you know, you can't hit every single time you go to a bookstore, so that one was a miss. Finally, the last book that I'm haven't finished that I might finish, but I'm having a really hard time with. Phantom is a dark romance book about a girl who has pretty severe mental health issues. It's a retelling of Phantom of the Opera. It's set in New Orleans, and I love the setting. I love the characters, but the main girl is having mental breaks constantly, and I find it really hard because it's very well written. And sometimes it's even harder to read things that are well written than things that are badly written because it's compelling, it's accurate, it's intense, and it feels like too close to home. I don't even know. Like I've never been hospitalized for mental illness, but it's the kind of thing where it's like she's an average person. This is happening to her. It's affecting her life and how it's affecting her life. And I guess it's a little bit too intense for me. I think in the same way that the first book, Manhunt, is. It's just like it's too emotional, it's too intense. So those are my reasons for not reading them. I mean, it's the kind of thing where if you want to read them, like go for it. They're interesting, and I mean I got them for a reason. But it's also like watch out. Like these are the things I felt about them. Manhunt and Phantom are really heavy, and I would definitely suggest, I don't know, guarding your mental health. I'm going to put a trigger warning at the beginning of the video for the language in the first book, just because I feel bad even reading it. But I don't know, might censor some words too. I I don't like the language, and I'm sure that's me being overly sensitive or something. But I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't have to justify why I don't want to read books. There was a book that I put down a while ago because it was a really intensely accurate description of like was it CA? I'm It's like the I don't even know the word for it, but like child stuff. And it felt really awful, and it felt like it shouldn't have even been written, and it felt like it was targeted at a very specific community. And it's not even that it was like hidden, like it was on Audible. I was listening to an audiobook of it, and I'm like, how did this get written? How did it get published? How did it get a audiobook made of it? Like, uh, I'm not even gonna say the title because I don't want to give it any publicity, but it was really uncomfortable. And that was another one where at like 2, 3 chapters in, I was like, this is terrible. Like, I do not want to be anywhere near this subject. So I stopped. And I feel like you never have to finish a book. You never have to force yourself to read something.